are you really? Who do you want to be in your life? Do you ever think about that stuff, man? I love coming out here early in the morning. Like right now it's 5:30. I just was up for 2 hours having time to reflect and prepare myself for the day. And then I go out and run, and I just get this time to think and build my relationship with myself, man, and be honest with myself and ensure that I'm showing up every day as the man my family needs, as the husband, as the father they deserve, right? For my community, for my employees, for my clients. Like, I want to be the best version of me that I could ever be. And this is the beauty in life, you guys. It's unique to you. Like, your purpose is to become your best self. Everyone's looking externally for these answers and these like strategies to improve their life. And I get it. You know, we need tools, we need to develop skill sets. But what about you? Like, you're unique. There's no one in this world like you. Your vision, your passions, like your natural gifts and talents, they're so unique that literally there's not one person who has ever lived who possesses what you have. Do you think there's a coincidence there? Do you think that just happened by chance? No. It's so that you can dedicate your life to sharpening yourself, elevating yourself, and growing. Imagine if you dedicated your life to becoming your best self, how that would impact those around you. What you can do and achieve, what you can accomplish, but more than that, how you're gonna feel when you go to bed at night knowing that you're literally giving your all, your heart and soul to every moment of this life. I remember when I first got incarcerated, I was so broken and hopeless, and I had no idea what was gonna happen to me. And for over a decade, I had just been living really a miserable existence. I was addicted to drugs and alcohol. I was depressed, I was insecure. I wasn't pursuing anything of meaning. I had no direction, no purpose in my life. And I literally was living moment to moment. Like, I was in a reactionary state. I had no idea what the future had in store for me. And I got to this point where I realized that I had to fight, I had to fight for my life, for my freedom, for my sanity. I was stuck in this cell all day long. My lawyers didn't want to help me. They didn't believe I was innocent. Nobody cared, right? I was there all alone. And of course, my family cared that I was incarcerated, but no one could be in those moments to rescue me. Like, no one can make those feelings go away. I had to find a way to persevere. And I just remember I had this moment of clarity where I realized, I'm gonna fucking fight, man. I have to fight. I have to fight, because I had this delusion that this problem was going to go away and everything was going to be fine and things were going to go back to the way they were. Thank God they didn't, right? But I realized in that moment I had to fight. I had to fight to become someone that I admired. I had to fight to become that person, that boy, that kid, that athlete that I was so tapped into and connected with in my earlier years. Like, that's when I felt the most alive. And this came to me because I had been reflecting extensively on, man, how did you get here, Sean? Why did you allow this to happen? Why did you make those bad choices? Like, why did you act like that person you weren't, just to show somebody or other people that you were okay, or like try to put on this facade and this persona? And I hated myself for it. I had so much guilt and shame. And so in that moment, I made a decision that I was gonna fight every day for the rest of my life just to get back to that person I wanted to be, just to make up for all those mistakes, all those decisions, all those years wasted. And this came at a time where I literally thought I was gonna be in prison for the rest of my life. But I just knew deep down in my heart that I had to just fight. I couldn't go out that way. I couldn't just die or accept that life that I'd settled for. Like, I had to give more, I had to try. And so I'm talking to that individual right now who might be in a tough point in their life, and they're like, man, what is my purpose? Like, what is that vision for me? On my videos, I talk a lot about your vision, your identity, and embrace that truth and go for it. But a lot of times we don't even know what that ultimate vision is when we start out. We can't see it because we haven't been living it. So deep down inside, you don't even believe that you can go out and create something amazing or great, right? Like, you have those doubts and those fears about yourself because you've been breaking all these promises to yourself and making bad choices. So to that individual, listen up, because I was that person, sitting in a prison cell coming off of drugs and alcohol thinking, what the hell just happened to my life? I was 23 years old and I was looking at a life sentence. And in that moment, when I decided that I was just gonna fight, I only could think of two things that I wanted to embody, that I was gonna just cling on to, that would start to shape and mold my identity. The first one was that I would never touch drugs or alcohol ever again. I knew that I had abused drugs and alcohol as a crutch. It had almost taken my life. It had killed people around me. And I knew that if I wanted to be the person at heart I needed to be, I had to be, I wanted to be, that I could not use drugs or alcohol. I made that decision, and that was a core component of my identity and the person that I was going to dedicate the rest of my life to becoming and creating. That was over 10 years ago. I've been drug and alcohol free since. I've been sober. I've never even had a craving or an urge to use drugs or alcohol. How does that happen? It's a miracle. But this is the power that you possess within. Okay, and the second promise I made to myself stems directly from my regret, my pain, living life like an inferior version of myself. I told myself no matter where I go, no matter how much time I spend in prison, I am going to be the best version of myself that I could ever be in everything that I do, forever, no matter what. I just wanted to be so proud of who I was. I just wanted to love myself, man, because I hated myself for all those choices. You know, and I knew deep down inside, I had this feeling that I could be better, that I was more, that I was capable of more. And I know you all have that. We're all born with this feeling that just compels us to go, to be, to grow, to create. But so many people become disconnected, and then they start to doubt themselves, and then they never get that feeling back. And they just go down this really dark and lonely path in life where you're miserable. You're chasing things to try to find that fulfillment within, but nothing will create the feeling within that you're after because you're not that person. You have to become that person that can create these feelings within. And the way you do that is through your daily actions. And that's what I started doing every single day. Because I wanted to be my best self, I started finding things that I could do that helped me to feel like I was improving. These were such trivial things initially that most people would overlook them. But for me, they were so important. They were as important as another breath of air. I'm talking about looking up words in my dictionary. I'm talking about every single push-up I did and not missing a workout. I'm talking about the way I wrote my letters back home. I'm talking to you about every single thing I did. Literally like the steps I took and the thoughts that I was having. I would check myself with everything to make sure that it aligned to the person that I want to be. This was the very beginning stages of me taking back control of my life. And now, for those of you who right now are not in control of your life and you're not happy, this is where you have to start. You're not going to have this grand, magical vision early on where you know exactly what to do and how to attain that vision. It just comes to you over time as you start to develop this belief in yourself, as you start to grow, as you start to overcome these challenges day by day by day. And if you keep promises to yourself, you start to build this track record of I can do it. I am doing it. And that's where confidence comes from. And that belief can change your life. But everyone wants to go from struggling and living this really like inferior life to living the most extreme like superior life. And it doesn't work that way. It's a journey. It's a process. And all the while you are going to level up and transform the way you think, your habits. You're going to grow. You have to grow. All of your results right now are a direct reflection of you and your personal development. If you don't like your results financially, in your relationships, with your health, guess what? You have to evolve your development as an individual. You have to read more books, put in more work, wake up earlier, work out harder, be more consistent. And what it all comes down to is what do you want to achieve and how much work, how much consistency do I have to put forth to attain it, right? So we're talking about discipline and consistency, and that's it. Once you make a determination about who you want to be, it's just a matter of time until you become that person. But most people take days off. Most people make excuses. Most people know in their heart who they want to be, but they just hold themselves back because they don't want to work hard to achieve that goal, right? You've been coddled this whole time you've been alive. You've been conditioned to settle for convenience, to order DoorDash, to go to the drive-thru, right? To like order something off TV instantaneously. And that's one of the worst things that we can be subjected to because it takes away the drive that is instilled in you when you have to work hard for something and the internal attributes that you develop on that journey. Like the greatest feeling in the world is working towards becoming that person. The greatest feeling in the world is when you start to build that momentum and you start to hit those little milestone achievements. But the journey and the process of becoming that person is far greater than the end result because you'll never attain the end result. Like when you get to one place in life, like I got out of prison, now I had a whole new challenge, getting out of prison and rebuilding my life, right? So like 5 years of me dedicating my life to becoming the person I wanted to be, only to get to that moment where I had to start all over. But it wasn't starting all over. It was just a new phase, a new chapter. So without getting on a tangent for you guys, this message is very direct and clear. Start by making some promises and commitments to yourself that you will never break. I've never stopped being my best self since the moment I made that promise deep down inside. I've never touched drugs or alcohol ever again, over 10 years. over time, the trust that I've built in myself, the belief that I built in myself by making those promises and moving forward in my life, and the daily actions that just build that momentum, that confidence, and just elevate you internally, psychologically, physically, like the discipline that's required. It turns you into a whole different caliber of individual. And literally, people feel that when you talk to them. It's a transference of energy. They feel your energy. They hear your passion. They see your body language, and they know that you've tapped into something special. But when you don't have that, the opposite occurs. Your voice is low, your shoulders are forward, you kind of look down, you won't make eye contact. You're not meant to be that person, and you know it in your heart. And every night that you go to sleep and you don't think to yourself, damn, man, I'm giving my all to this life, is a wasted day you'll never get back. Stop doing that. Right now, when you watch this video, write down 2, 3, 10 promises that you're going to keep to yourself, and just start focusing on that every day. And this vision, this purpose inside of you will start to come alive over time. The person that you are meant to be, your higher self, will start to appear. You're creating that individual every day, but you're not going to have the blueprint from the start. You're not going to know who that person is from the get-go. You have to dedicate yourself to cultivating that person. You have to trust and believe that if you give your all every day, you're going to get the outcomes you want. Because right now, if you're not giving your all, look at the outcomes you have. Is that what you want? Time to make a change right now.